if the fear you have been running from is actually a portal to freedom? On today, Horizons with your host Saima, we are joined by Andrew Wilson, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Practitioner, podcast host of Beyond Transcendence, and a man who worked through trauma, breakdown, and near death only to come out more alive than ever. His story is raw, real, and his wisdom is earned. His presence reminds us that healing isn't linear, but it's possible. So, if you've ever felt stuck in your pain, this conversation is your map forward. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here. So, Andrew, you speak openly about being trapped in fear. I'm really eager to know what did that fear look like in your daily life, and when did you finally, realize that it was running the show?
Well, fear looks like waking up in the morning and facing a bully and going to
Mhm.
school and trying to get that bully out of my mind was a big struggle. And then a lot of the teachers didn't understand what I was going through. So they kind of gave me a hard time too. There was only one teacher that I really looked up to that was in grade 3, and she was the most supportive person. She understood me and she realized that I was being bullied, but she couldn't do anything about it. And my parents tried to stop the bullying from happening, but they can only do so much. And so it was really traumatizing for me, and it gave me a lot of anxiety and depression. And it's all I could really focus on. And I pretty much coasted my way through life. I didn't really apply myself or try because when I did try, people would kind of tell me, you're wasting your time. This isn't the right fit for you. Maybe you should look for something different. And when I did try to like go to school and fulfill my education, during the course, if I changed the course of what I was doing, then people would kind of resent me and they kind of just basically put me into a corner and it made me quit my course. So I had that trauma and that anger my entire childhood, and I decided to move out west to see if that would improve me. But when I moved out west, I started to work in an industry called the oil and gas sector, and it was very toxic and traumatizing. And what I really got for an outcome was being called like names and tools being thrown at me. And it really took its toll on me. And I started a brand new relationship, and I was taking that frustration, that anger home, and I was basically taking it out on the person I was in the relationship with. And it didn't really understand it at the time because I didn't unconsciously, I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just kind of coasting through life, living to living to exist and not live to live. And then we decided to change that and we moved to Alberta. And I was supposed to continue my education, but during that time, the oil and gas sector crashed, and we were still kind of at each other's throats. And I was still having my meltdowns. I was being completely toxic and narcissistic tendencies. And that continued. And then I found a job in the railway, and I thought that might be a change. And it turns out it was just as toxic and even harder because I was on the road all the time. So I was driving for 14 to 15 hours, go on the road for 10 days and then come back and just repeat that and I did that for like 3 years, and it took a toll on my body, my relationship. And so I decided to get something local. And before I was going to go local, I got a phone call that because my mother decided to come up and visit me, or to come up to Alberta to be with me. And it was when I got that phone call that really shifted something inside of me, because they were telling me basically that my mother was she took a turn and she's not doing well, and that kind of set me into a spiral of anger because that night she passed away. And I blamed myself and I blamed the people around me. I was just so angry. And I just felt so lost. And I went to two of my coworkers because they refused to get the COVID-19 shot. And I asked them, why did you not get that? And they said, well, it was infringement of our rights. So that swallowed me and I went down the rabbit hole. And then I went to my first holistic healing session. And it was then that I got introduced to an author named Dolores Cannon. And I started to read Dolores's books, and I just got lost in her teachings and just how we don't really understand like what's going on inside of us because we are unconsciously living, because we are programmed to think that we need to be in survival mode and that we are the villain and that we need to be saved. And we get in that trauma like triangle, and that's basically, it takes over us. So when I started to realize that that part of me was controlling me, I decided to change my complete shift. I changed the version of myself. I stopped working out and I started to meditate. I started to do yoga, and as the shift changed, then I got into journaling, and then I got into more looking into like spiritual path. And when I started to heal within myself, that was when I started to understand that I was my biggest problem, and that what I chose in life was my decision. And it took away the fear to understand that I chose to go through this trauma and to experience this trauma. Because I went through this trauma and I experienced it, now I'm coming out on the other side and I can help those who are struggling with trauma. And the biggest lesson that I took away from it was that in life, we don't realize that we choose the course of our path. And when we make decisions and they don't agree with what we do, then they teach us lessons and they give us opportunities for growth and to understand ourselves. And it's improved my relationship with my wife. It's improved my overall health. It's improved my mental health even. So I've learned to just take the fear and harness it and embody it and learn to be one with the fear. And in my book, The Enemy Within, Fear is Our Greatest Opponent, I talk about my struggles, but I also talk about the discovery that I made during my time with dealing with fear.
First of all, thank you, Andrew, for being so open and raw about that. And it's really powerful to hear how like fear showed up in your life in such tangible ways. And I'm really moved that you came out of such a difficult experience.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and it never ends. Like the thing is, it's not one and done. It's you got to continue to do the work. It's never ending. You got to always focus on like what else you can improve and what else you can overcome.
Absolutely. Now, you have worked in high pressure environments like oil and gas. So, how did the culture of toughness suppress your emotional truth?
Well, I didn't really know how to like work in that industry. I kind of just um took it and didn't and like I did speak back, but I spoke back in a reactive tone. And it's a very fast-paced environment. So basically like it's basically shut up and go to work, and like you either fit in or you don't. And if you don't fit in, then you get put on the bench, and then you basically wait to get picked. It's like being like the last kid to get picked, like for sports. It's the same as the oil and gas sector. If you're not good enough, then they put you on the bench and they basically treat you like a child. And the people there like are dealing with their own problems and they have their own addictions and everything. And you're in a camp with like 500 other men, and they're missing their wives. It's a very unforgiving industry to be a part of. The money's great and all, but the time away from your loved ones. And like when COVID like first came out and everyone that went back home to their wives, they actually got divorced because they hadn't seen their wives in like forever. And it really takes a toll on your relationships and your body because it's a lot of long hours. Like it's 12 hours sometimes if you're doing something that's called a turnaround where you shut the entire facility down. That can be 16 to 24 hours depending on the amount of the process that you do. So it's very physically demanding, mentally draining. And yeah, it was a tough time, and it took its toll on me. I learned a lot about myself and what I did wrong, but it also helped me to take that money that I in the oil and gas and buy a home with it and pay off like debt and pay off bills. So I did it smart. So the only takeaway I would use would be um, it made me understand myself and reflect like what I was doing wrong in life. And it also gave me the financial stability to overcome any debt that I had accumulated.
That, that is really, that really highlights that how powerful culture can be, and the way you like internalize that toughness says a lot about the pressure and to perform, to conform, and to worry anything that felt vulnerable. It's like incredibly validating to hear someone name that, Andrew.
Yeah, I know it's well, a lot of people don't understand it. Like they think that like you go to work and you just do a job. Well, no, there's more to that. You've got to take into consideration you're working long hours, and the food that you get at camp is the same food you eat every day, and you're away from your loved ones, and you're in an environment where you're huffing fumes all day, and then you're around people that are just you work yourself to the bone, and you get exhausted and mentally and physically, and then when you leave, like the longest stint I did in camp was 65 days in a row. And when I came back, I was a totally like different person. Like I was exhausted, but I didn't give myself time to rest because you don't. Like when you get home from work, the first thing you want to do is go out and socialize. You want to travel or you want to go party. So you don't really give yourself time to like relax. You don't give your body time to do anything. You just kind of drain yourself of all your energy, and then once you're done all of that, then you go right back and you do it all over again. So it's an ongoing process, and I respect any person that's working in the oil and gas sector that's willing to put their body and mind and relationship through that.
I completely agree with that. So, what would you like to say to someone, especially to men today who are still silently suffering under success?
I would say it's okay to like talk about your feelings. I know we were taught in our age to not speak about our feelings. We were considered weak if we spoke about our feelings. And nowadays, if you don't speak about your feelings, it actually affects you physically, not only mentally, but physically, because
Mhm.
our body is a living organism. And when we treat our body when we use words like we're not good enough or we we're not confident enough, our body listens to that. And that's how we manifest illness. That's how we manifest disease. That's how we have discomfort. So the people out there that bottle things up, my my suggestion is don't speak up, let them know that you're feeling this way. And the biggest thing I've understood is we don't know how to communicate as human beings because we were never taught how to communicate. We were taught to go to school, learn all this practicum, but there was no social. And any sort of social that we had, it was through sports, it was through clubs.
Mhm.
But when those clubs ended, then you didn't really have those skills to talk to people, to communicate, to understand yourself and understand what bothers you and understand yourself in general, because we never had that time because we were always distracted with sports, clubs, um, you name it. And then you put a job in part of that, and then you introduce kids, and then it's like you're trying to teach your children, but you haven't even taught yourself. So the biggest thing I can say is don't be scared to open up. And the more you open up, the more vulnerability is a superpower. It's not a weakness. And it'll help you to not only improve yourself, but when you start to heal yourself, you heal others around you. And then when you start to heal others around you, then they heal others. It's never ending. It's how we get over this this division, this depression, anxiety, fear. This is how we get over it, is by doing the work within ourselves. And when we do the work within ourselves, then the people around us do the work within themselves. And then it just keeps passing on and passing on. Like, so yeah, speak up. Don't be afraid. And I'm one person that'll tell you, like, when you start to do that, you start to not only change your life, but you change the lives of others.
Yes. And this could really speak to the hidden pain many listeners like carry quietly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like, I mean, we don't know that we have all this down inside of us because we haven't given ourselves the time to be alone with our thoughts. You think about it, you try to be alone with your thoughts and you automatically get overwhelmed because you're alone at that time. You're away from your phone, you're away from your wife, you're away from your kids, you're away from your job. There's no environment around you. You are just you with your thoughts. And that overwhelms people because they think automatically that there's something wrong with them when their thoughts start to talk to them. But it's not. It's not the case at all. In fact, that's you connecting with the part of you that you haven't connected with for so many years. So when it comes to that, just be open-minded. And if you start to feel overwhelmed, just start to journal and write it down, what's happening. And then ask yourself questions. Like, we don't really do self-talk because we were told that self-talk, we were considered crazy, but it's actually the way you manifest. It's the way that you heal yourself, because our words are powerful. They're like spells. They enhance your healing. They also enhance your mind and your body and soul. And when you realize that, then there's no more discomfort. There's no more reason to feel that way.
This was much needed. Now, you guide others through quantum healing hypnosis. So, can you share that? What makes this approach so powerful for unlocking subconscious blocks?
Well, what we do is we do a 2-hour interview and we get to know you on a personal level, and we get to know the characters and your story. And then you have a list of questions you have for the subconscious mind. So when we do the induction, it's about a 2-hour induction. And during the induction, there will be a life that you go to, and you have to experience 3 lives and you have to experience 3 deaths. And once we do the 3 lives and the 3 deaths, then I bring you and contact your subconscious. And then you have those questions that you ask your subconscious. It could be about your purpose, it could be about health, it could be about money. And your subconscious will give you these questions. And once we're done that, then during this whole time, I record the session. And once we're done the session, then I give you the recording to listen to before you go to bed. And you play back that recording over and over again every night before you go to sleep. And it intensifies your healing. And I've seen miraculous results because of that. Not with me, but with my clients healing themselves from diseases, illnesses, injuries, just by listening to their subconscious and reprogramming the mind that we have come accustomed to.
Hmm? And it's incredible to hear that how deeply this work can reach far beyond surface level mindset shifts. And the way, like you describe it, it's like people are finally meeting parts of themselves they didn't even know were buried, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we never got told that we were supposed to meet ourselves. We got told to go to work or go to school and then go to work and then buy a house, get married, but not fulfill like what's going on within you. Like, you start to see now people, when they start to look within themselves, they realize they don't want all these things. They don't want this job. They don't want the life they have. They want to change, but they don't realize it because they're told to stay in survival mode. And when you start to get out of like the trauma and the survival part, people start to understand themselves more, and they take their life to a new direction, and it improves drastically along with their health.
And I feel that that kind of transformation it doesn't just change beliefs, it rewrites how someone lives the truth.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to, any sort of transformation for the positive is not only going to transform your mind and body, it's going to transform the people around you, because the people around you, they're either going to stay or they're going to leave, because your energy is now shifted and you're changed. So it brings you to your community. It brings you to the people you're meant to be around, the people that motivate you, support you, guide you, want to see you like succeed, regardless of this change or not. They are the ones that stay with you to the end.
Yeah. Now, if someone listening right now, feels overwhelmed or stuck or like the fear has the final word, what would you like to say to them?
I say embody your fear and talk to yourself and ask yourself, why are you feeling this way? Where did this feeling begin? And sit with that thought, journal it even if you like, and let that thought just come to you naturally. And when it does, you don't have to feel overwhelmed. I know it's easier said than done, because you're alone. You have this thought now. You're feeling this pressure, but there's no pressure at all. The pressure is you putting it on yourself. And sit with that fear and let it just take its course. Don't feed into it. Just be one with it. And you'll get an answer from your subconscious or your higher self telling you what to do with that fear and why you have that fear and how you can overcome that fear and what the next step will be, what your path may need to change. That's the interesting thing. Like, when we stop and think and we just pause and we just let ourselves be and just take that breath. Even breath work is another way of getting through a fear. Like, I've been using breath work a lot. Beats and breath. I recommend everybody try it. It's wonderful. Breath work is beautiful. Like, just even to stop and take that breath for a minute will calm you down.
That was indeed a powerful invitation. Andrew, you showed us that healing doesn't come from escaping fear, but from facing it, feeling it, and freeing ourselves from its grip. So, listeners, you don't have to have it all figured out to begin. You just have to decide that your peace matters more than your patterns. So, start there. The rest will rise from it.